so happy together.
What's up, guys? Benny. It looks like things are going to chill out in Minneapolis, and that's too bad because we are going to miss videos like this. This is your mostly peaceful protester running and then doing like
Oh my
I don't
god.
even know what kind of a flop
Oh my
that is.
god.
Like, not sure. I think they were hit with a little bit of pepper spray or something. Maybe their hand warmer got a little too hot. I don't know. But I do know that perhaps it will mean good things for the ICE agents who are currently under fire in the city. Protesters lay siege to Minnesota hotel and chaotic scenes amid unrest. Ladies and gentlemen, there has been just a total and complete insurrection hellscape in the city of Minneapolis. I want the Insurrection Act and for full military deployment to bring these people under heel. President Trump and Tim Walz are getting together to make a deal. It sounds like this was the scene last night as protesters swarmed a Minnesota hotel. They believed that ICE agents were staying there. I'm not sure why we allow this. Well, I know exactly why we allow this, because the local law enforcement, police, the local National Guard, it just lets the mob run completely through the city with no consequences. No one's arresting these people. They're trying to kill activists. They're trying to kill cops, and no one's doing anything. It really does remind you a little bit of 2020. It makes me very, very angry. This was what they were doing last night.
They used tear gas. One federal agent was seen bloodied. 2 people were reportedly taken into custody. Now, this violent demonstration comes after more video is emerging of the shooting death of Alex Preddy on Saturday.
Man, and they keep pushing people.
Got it. And yeah, this whole Alex Preddy thing. Okay, don't bring a loaded firearm and then go assault a bunch of police officers. Again, you're putting yourself in the worst possible situation for a bad outcome. I conceal carry all the time. I live in Florida. There are firearms inside of my studio, but you can't go and rush cops, fight a bunch of cops, resist arrest with a loaded firearm and not expect a bad outcome. Cops are trained for this kind of stuff, and the firearm had an unintentional discharge, according to most available videos. So was it a good shoot or a bad shoot? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have all of the 4K slowed down video from multiple angles. The cops don't. They have like a 1-second reaction time. Violent anti-ICE protesters swarmed a Minnesota hotel. They smashed it up. They smashed up every vehicle, by the way, in the parking lot. The rioters have now started destroying vehicles that they believe could potentially be ICE vehicles. Very peaceful. Tim Walz should be proud. You can see here, Minneapolis police are now conducting a mass arrest. Crazed mob assaulted a hotel for allegedly housing ICE. It is insanely stupid and feeds into the dictator's hands. Well, good. It's good to see that the police finally arrived. They were smashing the hotel itself. They were bloodying. You can see here federal agents. And there you go. Here's your beautiful state of Minnesota. Anyway, it looks like the chaos may soon be calmed. These are criminals, not protesters. That's a matter of fact. President Trump is sending Tom Homan to Minnesota, he says. He's not been involved in that area, but he knows many of the people there. Tough and fair. He'll report directly to me. You don't want these things to be spiraling out of hand. This is a political game we're playing after all. And the left is trying to get a made-for-TV moment that they can utilize for political power to turn people against the operations here that are absolutely necessary in our country. I'm told ICE has already begun reallocating resources out of Minnesota on Friday. But after this weekend's events, those resources were immediately turned back around. Tom Homan is being sent to Minnesota to complete the mission. The resources are expected to flow. St. Paul police turned around and let an anti-ICE mob storm the Hilton with its agents. Goodness gracious. Highly organized left-wing mob operation going on. They have comms and logistics, food drops and supplies. You are dealing with an insurrection. I would love to see the Insurrection Act. President Trump up on Truth Social instead saying that Tim Walz has capitulated and will now allow federal officers into their detention centers to remove criminal aliens. Let's go ahead and read. Governor Walz called me with a request to work together with respect to Minnesota. Very good call. We actually seem to be on similar wavelength. I told Governor Walz that I would have to call Tom Homan. And what we were looking for is that all the criminals they have in their possessions be turned over to ICE. Trump wants the illegal aliens out of our country. That's step number one. Looking into the fraud is step number two. The governor very respectfully understood that. We'll be speaking with him in the near future. He was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota. So am I. We have tremendous success in these other cities. And virtually every other place that we have touched, Minnesota crime is way down. But Governor Walz and I want to make it better. Okay. Trump agrees to pull ICE agents out of Minnesota and allow cops to investigate the shooting. Governor Tim Walz says, let's go ahead and read and listen to this, because it seems like there's like two different stories here. Minnesota Governor Walz just announced that he's going to start coordinating with federal immigration forces on violent criminals. Hold him to it. Make him cave. Walz is losing on the issue and he knows it. But then there's headlines like this saying that Trump agrees to pull ICE agents out of Minnesota. I think this, of course, would be a big loss and a big L. Let's go ahead and read. Donald Trump agreed to pull ICE agents out of Minnesota to allow local cops to investigate the killing by federal agents, Tim Walz said. The president held a phone call with the state's governor on Monday following the death of 37-year-old Alex Preddy, ICU nurse who was shot dead by federal agents, who was violently protesting and committing criminal acts. That's just a matter of fact. Walz office said the president agreed that he would talk to his Department of Homeland Security and ensure that Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is able to conduct an independent investigation. This would be ordinary in the case. The president also agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota working with the state in a more coordinated fashion, immigration enforcement regarding violent criminals. Trump's call with Walz comes after the president last night blamed Preddy's death on Democrat-ensued chaos. True. He also accused Walz of standing by violent mobs who attack ICE and deploy troops under the Insurrection Act. The president privately expressed concerns. Homeland Security Secretary Noem on Monday, he sidelined the MAGA loyalist, ordering Tom Homan to lead the operations. I'm sending Tom Homan to Minnesota. Trump wrote on Truth Social. Riots erupted on Sunday night, and we showed you those riots. Okay, so this looks like a clickbait headline. It doesn't. None of that says that Trump is pulling ICE out of Minnesota. I think that would obviously be a massive capitulation and a mistake. But of course, if federal resources would not be needed in such high demand if local and state law enforcement agencies did their jobs and turned over violent criminals to the feds who are here illegally. Minnesota Tim Walz has released a statement after phone call. Governor Walz had a productive call with Trump. The governor made the case that we need impartial investigators of the Minneapolis shooting involving federal agents. We need to reduce the number of federal agents in Minnesota. The president agreed that he would talk to DHS about ensuring Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is able to conduct independent investigation. Fine. Fine. And would ordinarily be the president also agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents working in a more coordinated fashion. Listen, the way it works in Florida, there's not like massive ICE raids in Florida. Why? Because local law enforcement, and there's a ton of them, they catch a criminal alien, they literally just turn them over to DHS. They drop them off at Alligator or Alcatraz. And so you don't need to have like militarized vehicles filled with DHS and ICE agents going everywhere because the local authorities work with them. Sure, there's ICE agents here, there's FBI agents here, but like the local authorities work with them in a coordinated fashion. Inside of these sanctuary cities and states, that doesn't happen. The governor reminded President Trump that Minnesota Department of Corrections already honors federal detainers, notifying Immigration and Customs Enforcement when a person committed in its custody is not a U.S. citizen. There's not been a single documented case that the department's releasing someone from state prison without offering to ensure a smooth transition of custody.
And the chief at large of Border Patrol Minnesota and working with the state in a more coordinated fashion on immigration enforcement regarding violent criminals, sending a new direct report to Minneapolis. Veteran ICE official Tom Homan, it's unclear how he will work with leaders on the ground, like the chief and the...
Okay, shut up. All right, fine. You know what? Listen, man. Here's what I'm saying. I don't want anyone killed. I don't want anyone killed. Even if it, I don't want anybody killed. I've always said this. We are anti-violence. We don't want our fellow Americans killed. We don't want ICE agents killed. We don't want feds killed. Obviously, these kind of things are simply used for political purposes. And these monsters, they want more death. They celebrated when Charlie was shot. They were really angry when Trump dodged a bullet. They celebrated when Ashley Babbitt was killed. They don't care about Irina Zastruka. They don't care about Laken Riley. They care not. They are wanton demons. And I don't want to, and they win every single time one of theirs or one of ours is killed, because then they weaponize it and they use it for political purposes. So the more that you can chill things out, the more you can make peace but still enforce the law, I'm for it. The chaos only plays into their hands. I don't want it. I want it to be crushed. And if the way that it gets crushed is you peacefully deport millions of aliens, that's good. But this is an ugly business. Unfortunately, it can't be like that all the time. Anyway, I think it's fine. I think this is fine. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. It's your boy Benny. See you.